At some point, did you discover that one of the children had passed away?
Yes.
What was the stepsister's name?
Anna Kepner.
Anna Kepner's mysterious death on a family cruise has ripped her family apart. And now it's sparked an explosive legal fight. A separate, urgent custody battle has just forced new answers about her final hours into the open. In a courtroom today, Anna's stepmom testified under oath about the sleeping arrangements and the lack of supervision on the night Anna died. This case just pulled back the curtain on the chaotic, questionable decisions that surrounded Anna Kepner in her final days. And for the first time, we heard someone mention what potential charges could look like connected to Anna's death. We're on the case presented by Law&Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Hey, a lot of our stories show the scary realities of people who are victims of crime. One kind of crime that's really important to cover is identity theft, because it's something that many of us are at risk of becoming a victim of when you think about how much of your data, like your phone number or address, are just sitting there ready for someone to grab. Incogni helps erase your digital trail. They find sites exposing your information and demand removal, so it's safe from scammers and identity thieves. Setup couldn't be easier. Just create an account and authorize Incogni to do the heavy lifting. With their new unlimited plans, custom removals feature, you submit specific links and their privacy team will personally scrub them. Take your privacy back with Incogni. Go to incogni.com/onthecase and use code ONTHECASE for 60% off an annual plan. New and explosive details about the final hours before Anna Kepner's death have just emerged, not from the FBI, but from a tense custody hearing that wrapped up today. On the stand, Anna's stepmom, Chantel Kepner, and she was grilled about the decisions that she and her husband, Christopher Kepner, who is Anna's biological dad, made on that ill-fated family cruise. Now, Anna Kepner's stepmom revealed that 3 teenagers, you have Anna, who was 18 years old, her 16-year-old stepbrother, who the family says is a suspect in Anna's death, and a 14-year-old stepbrother of Anna. The 3 of them were placed in a single stateroom. Now, the stepmom, Chantel Kepner, admitted the 16-year-old, who again is now a suspect, missed his critical nighttime medication twice on that trip, and she testified that no one checked on them the night that Anna died. But this hearing had a different urgent purpose, an emergency request to remove another child from that home. The father of the child, who is Anna Kepner's stepmom's ex-husband, so yes, there's a lot of layers to this blended family, he has argued that the cruise tragedy and the suspect living there put his daughter, who is Anna's stepsister, in imminent danger. Now, the judge ruled today, but the testimony peeled back the curtain on the chaotic environment and questionable decisions that surrounded Anna Kepner in her final days. Now, we're going to break down every critical admission from that stand. 18-year-old Anna Kepner's death on the Carnival cruise ship Horizon, which happened back in November, it was shocking enough. You just don't see cases like this on cruise ships that often. And the FBI has been investigating, because the FBI investigates cases that happen out on the water, often on cruise ships. But again, violent crimes don't often happen on cruise ships. And according to the family of Anna Kepner, who have spoken to ABC News, they say that Anna's cause of death was asphyxiation, that she was strangled inside the stateroom that she was staying in with her 16-year-old stepbrother, that she died from an arm across her neck. Now, the family has also said the only other person to go into the stateroom at the time that Anna died was her 16-year-old stepbrother. Now, that is certainly critical and important information when you think about the death investigation into Anna Kepner. And this custody hearing that we were following today, that is not directly connected to the death of Anna Kepner, but again, the information is very important to her story. And it was the aftermath of what happened aboard the ship that really ripped apart this blended family, a family that went on this trip. There were 9 of them, and it was supposed to be the start of a new tradition, they told ABC News, celebrating this family that had come together. But after court filings surfaced indicating that Anna's 16-year-old stepbrother is a suspect in her death, her stepmom's ex-husband, his name's Thomas Hudson, he took emergency action leading to what we saw today. He filed a motion claiming that with a homicide suspect having recently lived in the home, his young daughter, who also lives with Anna's stepmom and biological father Chris Kepner, was now in immediate danger. He asked a judge to remove that young girl immediately, and that set the stage for today. But as both sides laid out their case, they were forced to relive and answer for the critical hours and decisions leading up to Anna Kepner's death. Now, I will tell you as we get into this that the FBI has been very quiet about their investigation, and they have not said really anything beyond just confirming that they're investigating Anna Kepner's death. So much of the information has come from media reports and has come from family members who have given interviews, but this is really the only official court proceeding where we have learned more information about the circumstances the night that Anna Kepner died. And it's important to note that at the time of this recording, no one has been charged in connection to Anna Kepner's death. So Thomas Hudson, who's Anna's stepmom's ex-husband, his attorney came in today ready to argue a broad case, but he laid out his core concerns about the cruise right in his opening statement. Listen to how he framed it for the judge.
Your Honor, in this case, obviously it's our position that the youngest child is at risk for a number of reasons. As the court is aware through the pleadings, there's a young lady who's passed away. That matter is still under investigation. That was not my client's child, but the stepchild of the mother in this case, and the remaining 16-year-old is now a suspect in that case. In this case, the mother took the children on a cruise against my client's wishes, while preventing him from having regular contact with those children. We believe that the arrangements that were made by the mother as far as the sleeping arrangements were insufficient, that the 18-year-old, the 16-year-old, and another 14-year-old were all placed in the same stateroom. There's indications that they may have, because they were in international waters, may have been engaging in activities that they normally couldn't engage in while they were in the United States properly being supervised.
The attorney for Anna's stepmom, Chantal Kepner, had a very different view of the situation in that home after Anna's death. Her core argument is simple. The person at the center of the FBI's investigation, her own 16-year-old son, Anna's stepbrother, the suspect reportedly in Anna's death, was living elsewhere.
We believe, and I think we filed that in our response, that there's no emergency that exists. There was an incident on the cruise ship. The Federal Bureau of Investigations is investigating that. There have been no arrests made yet, but since my clients were advised that was a suspect in that, after he was released from the hospital upon the return to the United States, he was placed with a relative of the mother's. And not only did that happen, but Mom contacted Dad, and Dad signed an agreement to say that this child would be placed with a third party, thereby removing any risk of any danger to any of the other children in the home. So that has been resolved.
And in a later statement, her attorney revealed something significant. Anna Kepner's stepbrother could potentially face charges. This is the first time we've heard in court that criminal charges for Anna's death are actively being considered.
At this point, we're not sure what the FBI is going to do, whether he's going to be charged federally or whether they're going to turn it over to the state.
Now, with that potential prosecution hanging in the air, the stepmother was called to the stand and forced to answer for the exact environment and decisions that the FBI is investigating. The questioning went straight to the cruise and the choices made there.
Did you recently go on a cruise?
Yes.
And did any of the children go with you on the cruise? Did you reach out to Mr. Hudson to request that he agree to passports for the children?
I reached out to him to inform him of my itinerary to take the children on a cruise and did ask for the passports, but they weren't needed in this cruise.
And Mr. Hudson actually refused to cooperate with obtaining passports, correct?
To sign for the passports, yes.
You said passports weren't necessary, so they weren't obtained?
Correct.
As far as the minor children, what were the sleeping arrangements on this cruise?
With my husband and his 9-year-old daughter, and then shared a room with his stepsister and stepbrother. The room was directly across from ours.
What was the stepsister's name?
Anna Kepner,
And what was the stepbrother's name? And how old is
14,
and how old was Anna?
18.
Now, who made the decision to have these 3 teenagers in one room in the cruise?
We had talked it over with our traveler agent, and that was what was suggested.
Did you have to sign any special permission for
No,
the children to reside together? So was it a mutual decision between yourself and your husband?
correct.
And at some point, did you discover that one of the children had passed away?
Yes,
And when was that you discovered that?
Friday morning.
When was the last time that you had seen the child before that Friday morning?
Thursday night,
You know approximately what time?
right around 6:30.
And your child, did you see him that Thursday night as well?
Yes,
What time did you see him at?
closer to 7, just a little bit before 7.
What was he doing at that time?
He was headed back to his room.
Do you know whether or not was present in the room as well?
They all were headed back to their room, as far as I know.
So where was their room in relation to your room?
Right across the hall. You walked out my door, their door was right in front of it.
Did you return to your room that evening?
Yes,
What time did you return to your room?
7 o'clock.
7 p.m.?
Yeah, right, it was actually closer to 7:30.
Did you stay in the room for the rest of the night?
Yes,
With the teenagers across the hall, did you ever go in and check on them?
no, I had went to sleep.
Do you know if Christopher went across the hall to check on them?
Not that I know of.
Do you know if ever left the room that night on that Thursday night?
I never seen him leave the room.
Now, as this continued on, the questioning of Chantel Kepner, the attorney for her ex-husband pivoted to questions about the environment on the ship, probing what activities the teenagers might have had access to, specifically alcohol and gambling. Now, Chantel says the underage children didn't drink because they're not old enough, but then she was pressed specifically about 18-year-old Anna, and her answer is a firm, quote, "I don't know." And this leaves the question about what supervision or awareness there was of Anna, an adult who was sharing a room with 2 minors. Now, take a listen to this.
Had you drank it all during the cruise?
I had 2 pina coladas and a blue Hawaiian earlier in the week, but it wasn't on the same day, it was like 1 a day.
Do you know if the children, based on being in international waters, could I drink alcohol?
No,
You don't know?
no, they didn't. They're not old enough.
What about What about Anna?
I don't know.
Weren't you aware that the children were gambling at some point?
Well, Anna's 18, so I know she was in there at one point in time, but the other kids were not.
You're sure that the other kids were not gambling?
I'm sure the other kids were not gambling.
Next, the questioning turns to a critical detail that goes directly to the state of the 16-year-old suspect in the hours before Anna's death. His prescribed medication, and this is new information that we have not heard up until this point. The attorney established that the teen has ADHD and is taking 2 medications, one called Concerta, which he takes in the morning, and then there's a nighttime pill he takes for insomnia called clonidine. Chantel testified that she held on to both medications on the cruise, but then came a major admission about the final night.
As far as does he have any diagnoses?
He has ADHD.
And how long has he been diagnosed with ADHD?
About 3 or 4 years.
Those after your separation from Mr. Hudson, correct?
About that timeline, yes.
And does he receive medication for his ADHD?
He does.
And what medication was he on for his ADHD?
Methylphenidate.
Would you pronounce that for me and spell it, Pam, if you know?
Methylphenidate, I don't know the spelling.
Okay,
The name brand's Concerta, if that
okay,
helps.
thank you.
And how often would take that medication?
Every morning.
And did he take the medication on the cruise with him?
Yes. He also takes a nighttime pill as well.
The same medication?
No, it's clonidine.
What is that for?
Insomnia.
Did you hold on to the medications?
Yes.
Did you make sure he took his medications every day?
He took his morning pill every day, and he missed 2 doses of his clonidine at night.
You held on to the clonidine as well?
Mm-hmm.
That's yes?
Yes, sorry.
And what do you mean he missed the doses? What happened there?
He went to bed before he got it. He was already asleep.
Including that Thursday night?
No, Thursday night he didn't get it. I had fell asleep before he did.
So just to make sure I understand, ma'am, while on the cruise, he missed taking that nighttime medication twice. One of the nights was because he fell asleep prior to taking
Yes.
the medication, and the other night was the night before
Correct. I fell asleep before he
you
did.
fell asleep,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
he did not get the medication the night.
Yeah, he didn't come and
before
ask
the
for it.
incident.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
So according to her own testimony, the 16-year-old suspect, who had been prescribed medication for insomnia, did not receive that medication on the final night. Chantel says that she fell asleep before her son did, so she did not give him his medication. Now, this raises immediate questions for the investigation. What was this 16-year-old's state of mind or ability to sleep that night without his medication? And could it have played a role in his actions or behavior? Now, the hearing also revealed how the tragedy surrounding Anna has disrupted the lives of the children living in that home. The attorney then asked Chantel about the immediate consequences for her young daughter, still living in the shadow of this tragedy.
After the cruise, did she have to be removed from school?
They placed her on homeschool. They just unenrolled her this past Monday.
And why is that?
That was their choice to unenroll her.
Say their choice. Who are you talking about?
The school's choice. It had nothing to do with her behavior or anything. It had to do with the media.
She's currently on a homeschool status indefinitely.
No, she's being enrolled into another school.
Did Did you discuss that with Mr. Hudson?
I let him know that he had asked me to let him know when she was enrolled, and I told him I would. But I had just found out this week that she was unenrolled from the school.
As far as going to be allowed to come back to your home at any point?
At this time, no. Not with the FBI investigation.
Later, Chantel Kepner's attorney worked to solidify the narrative about the relationship between Anna and her stepbrothers, a relationship that has been described very differently.
Anna, who we know passed away, she was 18, correct?
Correct.
And was an adult.
Correct.
And was she given the option of staying in another room?
All three of the kids were.
Okay. And would that room have been with Grandma and Grandpa?
Correct.
And they didn't want to do that?
No, they wanted to stay together.
Did they all get along?
Yeah, the three of them are like the three amigos. They're best friends.
Okay.
This is the picture the stepmom side is committed to, a close, chosen bond between the teenagers, which is a stark contrast to prior claims that Anna was actually afraid of her stepbrother, and according to her ex-boyfriend who spoke to Inside Edition, the concern that her stepbrother was, quote, obsessed with Anna.
Did your ex-wife inform you that she was going on a cruise and taking the children?
She did.
And what was your position regarding that?
I wasn't okay with it. I let her know I wasn't okay with it.
And why was it that you weren't okay with it?
Because at that time, I was getting nowhere with seeing my kids. I had barely any communication at all.
Now, there is one notable absence from today's hearing: Anna's own father, Christopher Kepner. He was subpoenaed to testify about the safety of the home and the decisions made on that cruise, but according to Fox News, he dodged service and he did not appear. Now, as for Anna's case, which is separate from the hearing that we just talked about, the FBI says its investigation continues. They really have not said anything beyond that since the investigation began when the ship returned back to the port in Miami on November 8th and her body was taken off of the ship. To our knowledge, no arrests have been made. The FBI hasn't named any suspects, but the family of Anna Kepner and the attorney for Anna Kepner's stepmom's husband has said that 16-year-old stepbrother is a suspect. But again, we're waiting for confirmation from the FBI on that. We are going to continue to follow this case as we have from the very beginning. That will do it for On the Case, presented by Law&Crime. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify. I'm Chris Stewart. We'll see you next time.